Thank you, Spirit, for giving us this opportunity to share information, all of the downloads that you provide, so that we can learn about the essence of healing. I want to ask that you open up a beautiful container filled with love, harmony, understanding, and growth, expansion. I want to ask Archangel Michael to apply a shield of protection and to clear and send to the light any entities that are keeping anyone that is watching this video from understanding, from receiving the information at their heart center. I want to ask Archangel Raphael to apply healing into this video so that those who are here are receiving healing through my voice, through watching this video, through the understanding of the information that is going to be shared today. And I call upon Archangel Metatron to help us with the spiritual understanding and integration of this understanding in our daily lives. Thank you. Calling upon the higher self of all of those who are watching this video now. And so it is. Thank you. Namaste, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing Channel. My name is Jakara, and I am a spiritual healing facilitator. I am here to share information that I learn about my path as a healer, as someone who is going through her own healing herself. And also when I'm working with my clients, I get to learn so many things. So this video is no surprise. I'm going to be sharing some information in regards to being able to heal children. So if you're interested in really applying healing to your children, or you've been considering that because you're seeing certain patterns in your children or even in your family, then this video is for you. So let's dive in. I have been doing some healings for minors for a little while now, and I don't do that many, but the ones that I have done have been very impactful. And I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about how I approach this spiritual response therapy work with healing minors and helping apply this healing to minors. So the first thing that I want to mention is that when we are working with minors, we want to make sure that we are getting permission from their higher selves as well as the parents' higher selves. And typically, if you're watching this and you're a parent, you most likely have either started your spiritual journey and you've been in this process of healing yourself, or maybe you're interested in applying healing because someone in your family or friend circles have mentioned that you may need to consider applying healing for your child, or maybe just to start that healing journey, or maybe you have been inspired by other parents that are doing that for their children. So if that's you, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for saying yes to your higher self and considering this beautiful act of service for the future generations. When we apply healing to children now, we're not only helping them untangle things that are not serving their higher selves anymore, but we're also helping them, really live their highest expression on this lifetime. So that's the most beautiful gift that you can give your child. So I kind of wanted to zero in on, is it possible to apply healing to a minor? Absolutely, it is possible. However, like I mentioned, we do need to get the acceptance from their higher selves and also their parents' higher selves. So if there's a conscious acceptance of the parent, and if you want to include your child and ask them if they're at an age that they can understand what it is that you're doing, then definitely it's okay to ask them if they want to be included, and they can also be part of the healing session if they want to. However, they don't really need to be present, but the parent would need to be present or give some sort of agreement that they are okay with it, and then the session can be done remotely. And some of the things that I learned in regards to applying healing for minors is that, or for children, is that, it is a dance, a balance here. Because sometimes when someone, maybe you are someone who is very close to a child, maybe it is your, you know, your cousin, your cousin's daughter, or maybe it is your godmother, you're the godmother and you have a godchild, or maybe you have, you know, you have a close relationship to a child, but you're not the direct parent. The parent has to be willing to do the work as well. So you can't really have apply healing even if you are close to that child, unless the parent, the direct parent, like the mother or father, are involved in saying yes to this for the child. So that's one thing that's important. And it not only is a code of ethics that we have to consider, but it's also the fact that we want to make sure that, you know, the energy that is being applied is also being consciously applied alongside with the parent. The other thing that I would invite you to consider is, have you done your own healing yourself? Because sometimes we see our children and we want to focus so much on our loved ones that we forget that we also need to do our work ourselves. So if you haven't put any work on healing yourselves or doing some sort of clearing or ancestral work on your own, I would suggest you start with yourself first. Because what's going to happen is when you do the clearing on yourself first, especially if you're going to do any sort of ancestral work, this can also be carried forward to the child. So there's going to be a direct link to the child. It will be basically a direct benefit to the child. So why is this important? Because you know, you don't want to bypass. And even at the spiritual level, spirit would not even allow that to be bypassed. So, for example, I just recently had a session that was basically for a child, and however, the mother needed to be first cleared in different levels before we could actually move forward with the child. So that was kind of one of those conversations that I typically, they're not very common for me to have with people, because typically spirit just opens up and says yes, 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 let's clear, because it's ready. But sometimes you know, when we're focusing so much on the other person, and we are failing to see that we also need the healing and the clearings, then spirit will kind of redirect that for you so that you can start refocusing your energy back to yourself. So so if you're one of those people who are basically seeing a lot of issues in your family and you haven't done any work on yourself, I would suggest to first start with yourself. And in the conversation with your healer, whether you're doing SRT or any or ancestral healing with me or any other healer for that matter, to really open that conversation as well about how you are setting the intention to heal and clear things that are at the lineage level type thing. So you want to make sure that you open up that conversation, so that way the practitioner can check to see if the children can also benefit from a healing and clearing also after you have worked on yourself. Sometimes things can get cleared on their own once you have done your own entanglement clearing, especially when it comes down to family tree clearings, that's something that I do as well. With the family tree clearings, these are also it's a subcategory of SRT that it's included within that modality. And those particular sessions are really interesting, because what we do is that we are addressing our family tree, so our issue, right? So that whatever issue that it is that we're setting the intention for, because we always want to work with intention, always want to work with an intention, because that will focus the energy, will focus the process of clearing and the healing, right? Otherwise, it will be just very, very busy and difficult. So so we first address, you know, we determine first together, or even within yourself, the intention, which is typically going to be an issue or a challenge that is chronically showing up in your life. And then and of course, you most likely going to come to me in regards to an ancestral issue when you see this pattern happening in your family. So something kind of like, oh, this runs in the family, and this is something that I'm looking to break the chains off, like that type of conversation that you're having within yourself. That means that you're being called to do ancestral healing, and that in turn will also benefit positively your descendants, i.e. your children. So so when we do the ancestral clearing, we open your records, we clear anything at the Akashic level that needs to be cleared, any programs that need to be cleared. And then the next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and open your family tree with work with and work with your ancestors, and the ancestors that are basically entangled in the issue that's been happening, the ones that are the root cause of the issue, are going to come forward and then basically reveal what are the loyalties, and then help clear those loyalties and cut those ties and help you release, and so that you can find freedom from these loyalties, so that you can continue making decisions that are for your highest good on this lifetime, that are not that are basically not holding you back, right? Because a lot of times these loyalties are basically at the subconscious level, where we're wanting to stay in integrity with the tree, and then in turn we want to make sure that we keep loyal to our ancestors, so that we make decisions based on that. So the idea is to cut those cords so that you can make decisions that are for your highest good, for your highest evolvement, right? That's the whole purpose of the ancestors coming forward and clearing that. And they actually want to come forward and clear that they do, because they see the patterns and how the family is suffering, and how the family tree is suffering through that. So once they come through and they clear that from you, then that in turn is also applied to you, not only to you, but also later on to the descendants. So we first address the ancestors, and then we address the descendants, and then you become the ancestor of the descendants. So in turn, as you're clearing yourself, again, you're also benefiting this forward. So that's the beauty of this work, is that when we set that intention to clear the past and to work with our ancestors that are so willing and so ready to work with us, and then we move forward, then our descendants are ready, are able to move forward in their path, and also in a path of freedom, basically. So that in turn, right, that's one layer that could potentially be affecting, which is the ancestral layer. However, there is a different layer that we want to consider, which is the Akashic level layer. And you're probably wondering, well, Jakara, what's the difference? So the difference is that at the ancestral layer, we are looking at everything that has happened in that lineage, right, that we're born into here on Earth. Okay, so it's basically when we incarnate into this body is directly linked to our mothers, and our mothers carry all of that DNA, all of that information that is going to be passed down to us from that lineage. Okay, so that is from this lifetime. Then at the Akashic level, we also have an additional layer, which is called the soul family. And at the soul family, you could have people who are part of your soul family who are not part of your ancestral family, basically those who are blood related to you, but they are at the soul level, they are related to you, right? So what happens is that if there's any relationship that is soul and also ancestral, then we want to address both. Sometimes that can show up. So so it could be as simple as, okay, I want to clear myself from this issue that is showing up for me and my family, and I can see this in my children, so I'm going to address this with the ancestors. And that could be just one thing, but then there's also there could be a different layer that could show up, which is, oh, I have to clear the ancestral, but also the soul relationship with my children or with my family members. So now keep in mind that when you incarnate, you're not always related at the soul level. So what does that mean, being related at the soul level? What I mean by being related at the soul level, it means that you imagine this big oneness, right? That starts to wanting to know itself, and it starts creating these little pieces of itself, and starts creating these little cells, right? So imagine like it starts coming out, and out of these cells, those are going to be the souls that are coming out of the oneness, right? So the souls, basically, because everything is order, there's an order in the universe. So these souls are going to be kind of clustered in different places, and there's going to be something called a soul family, which is going to be the cluster of souls that are together. So when you have those clusters of souls that come together, the relationship between those souls that are clustered together versus the relationship with the souls that are in different clusters is going to be different, because when you come together as a cluster, you're going to be incarnating together many lifetimes. And doesn't mean that you're not going to incarnate with other souls that are in other clusters or other families. However, those who are in your main cluster are going to be the ones that you're going to have a very close relationship with. And that opens up the conversation of the flame. So flame, I don't know if you've ever heard of twin flame, but if you've never heard of the word twin flame, I invite you to open up to the concept that I'm about to explain. So the twin flame is basically that soul relationship with another soul that is so close to you. It doesn't mean that that's another part of you. It just means that they're so close to you. They're basically next to you, and there's like this magnetic pull between these two souls. But that's not the only flame relationship that exists, okay? There's gonna be other flame relationships that are basically a step away, that are also related to you, and are gonna be just as intense as, or maybe not as intense, but just close enough to a twin flame. So those flame relationships can potentially be other souls that that you incarnate with many times, and they also ignite a lot of healing. So what do I mean by igniting healing is that when we come here on the 3D and we incarnate together, we have sometimes challenging situations that activate us into seeking a way of coming out of the darkness into the light, right? So learning how to release and basically let go of all of these heavy things that we are discovering within ourselves, within our energetic bodies, that are basically ready to be released. And these souls come into our lives to ignite that fire, to start our process, or not start, but really continue our process of ascension. Okay, so all of this is for the purpose of ascension. But I don't want to get too carried away with soul family too much. I will make other videos about that, and I do have a class on soul family coming up at the Evolvme app, which I will be most likely opening up in January. So I will let you guys know about that. But for now, I just want you to understand that there is a soul relationship and there is an ancestral relationship that we need to address. And sometimes those two need to be cleared or healed separately, or sometimes it can be done in the same within the same healing. But it depends, right? It depends on your own situation. It depends on the entanglements between you and your family members, especially your children. So you're probably wondering, well, Jakara, can my child be my twin flame? Absolutely, yes. Your child can definitely be your twin flame, and there could be a lot of ignition of healing when you have your child, and a lot of shifts can happen for you throughout that process. You could actually even have a spiritual awakening when you have your child, because they are your twin flame. So they're basically really igniting that in your life, so that you can move forward and really create a beautiful process of ascension for both of you. So oh, Jakara, can I have another relationship, another soul relationship with, or does it mean if they're not a flame, do they not have a soul relationship with me? Yes, they still have a soul relationship, but it's not as close. So for example, I'm going to give you an example of my own experience with my own mother. We are related here, at the ancestral level. Yes, we are related here. But at the soul level, yes, there is a relationship, because all souls, we're all brothers and sisters. So yes, she is a soul sister, of course. However, the level of closeness between her and I is very different. So if you are one of those people who maybe felt a little off in your family. You always felt like you never fit in, or maybe your child feels like they don't fit in. There could be also a soul that could also explain why the soul relationship, the relationship is a little odd sometimes, is because the soul relationship can be a little further away. And what I've received from spirit in regards to this is that the purpose of these souls to come into these different places that are not necessarily as close as the soul relationship is because we're learning. So when we incarnate into these different families that are not close to us at the soul level, that means that we're learning, that we're expanding, that we're sometimes igniting each other, we're helping each other grow. So there is a divine purpose for that as well. That doesn't mean that just because you're incarnated in a different in an ancestral lineage that is not necessarily related to you at the soul level, that doesn't mean that, oh well, is this a bad thing? No, because you got to remember that when you look at it from the perspective of at the ancestral level, the ancestral energy stays here on earth, right? So souls are going to come into these ancestral lineages, different ones, to learn all these different things. So you as a soul can decide to come down into that ancestral lineage together with your soul family to experience this together, right, and to grow together. Or you could choose to go to other ones, to other lineages that where your soul family may not be incarnated in, which is fine, just because you're looking to bring some more knowledge and some more experiences into your path. So so it's really kind of like a fun, if you want to look at it from that fun perspective, right? Like that's the purpose, right? Like just we're learning, we're very eager to learn and to explore and to expand as souls. So that's the beauty of this work, is that it just gives you that beautiful higher perspective that is so loving and so logical too. Like if you think about it, when we're out there and we want to go to school, we want to take the classes that we enjoy, right? So we're going to go for all the different classes that regardless if maybe some of our friends don't want to go to those classes, but we want to take them because we were eager to learn these new concepts and new things, right? So it's the same, it's in the same concept. So going back to the healing of children, can we heal minors? Absolutely, yes, you can. However, you want to make sure that you are getting the okay from their higher selves and the okay of their parents. And then also we want to make sure that the parents are also clear. They're clearing the path also, so that way, especially if there's any entanglements between both souls, right? So we're going to make sure that the parent is focusing on themselves first and then opening up that path for their children. Sometimes, again, you're going to have that opportunity to clear yourself, and that in turn opens up so much of that beautiful realm of healing for your children. And they themselves start getting ignited to seek support, or maybe you want to, encourage them to seek that support. You can do so as well. So we want to make sure that we respect the divine order of things, the divine truth of what it means to heal. Because the reality is that even though we have these close relationships, and of course we have these emotions and these feelings for each other, and we want to help each other, we want to make sure that we remember that the path of healing is really an individual path. We're coming here onto this planet to experience that individuality. Because if we wanted to experience the oneness, we would have just stayed up in spirit with the oneness, right? So we're coming here for that path. So it's important that we go back to that remembrance of, I am here to work on myself. And as I work on myself, I am also helping those who are around me. And of course, if we see that and we're feeling guided to support our children, to support their healing work, absolutely, that is a valid path. However, I want to caution you to remember to also focus on yourself first, and then continue, that path of self transformation and self healing, so that you can also be that embodiment and activate your children as well. So just being in that embodiment yourself, you don't even have to do anything, but being already in that energy as you shift yourself, that in itself is going to be very healing for your children as well. So so I hope this video helped you, and I'm so excited to share this with you because I just love working with children. I think that that this work is such a beautiful thing, to be able to help children be in their highest expression, and also help parents understand their children, especially for those children who are here very new, and sometimes they have a hard time adjusting to Earth, because there's a lot of you out there who are having children who have children who are very special because they haven't been here on Earth before. So you are basically the one who's showing them the way of Earth. So what a beautiful path, what a beautiful thing. So so if you're experiencing any challenges with your children and you feel like there could be something else that is behind all of that, and you're feeling that inkling within yourself, then definitely feel free to reach out to me at www.thebloominglotushealing.com, and you can book a discovery session with me so we can talk about what is going on with you and your child, and see if your experience is going to be more so of you focusing on yourself first and then your child, or maybe just yourself, or maybe just your child. So we could always tap into the Akashic records and find out what needs to happen. So if you're not sure, you could always, again, reach out to me through a discovery call, and we can further discuss your own specific path. So thank you so much again. I am super grateful that you listened to this entire video. And if you like this video, make sure that you click the like button and that you share with someone, because as you help me grow this channel, you're not only helping me, but you're helping others. You're helping this beautiful universe to expand and to heal, because this is what the purpose of this channel and the intention of this channel is. So thank you so much, and I love you, and namaste.